Hello everyone, my name is Aastha. I welcome you all to our classes for IEO class 10th. Today is our 7th class in the series wherein we will be doing the topic of sentences and sentence sequencing. We will be understanding the topic in detail. We will be doing various questions which will help you to understand what kind of questions are asked. These are based on the pattern of IEO, so they're going to really help you so that you can form your preparation that way and do your preparation that way. Alright, so let's get started.
Alright, so what are the topics of the day? Which means what are the two topics that we are going to study in this chapter? These are, first will be how to ask questions. This will include interrogative words, descriptive questions, and we'll have question tags. And then the second one, sentence sequencing. This will be a sort of jumbled words. Actually, different parts of the sentence jumbled up, so that we will see as and when it comes. Okay, so let's start. Now the first thing that we are going to do, first topic is about the questions. So for that we'll have to figure out various interrogative words. So we'll be reading about different interrogative words one by one. Like we have an interrogative word who. When is who used? When we have to ask about a person, and the person, the one we are asking about, it acts as the subject. Alright. So it is very important to understand that we are asking about a person, but what? But as a subject. Okay. So as a person, about a person and as a subject. Here, like we have the example, who is the man behind the counter? So for this, the answer will be in terms of the person, and that person will be the subject of the answer. For example, if I say who is the man behind the counter, I say Rahul is the man behind the counter. So it becomes what? The subject. And here again we are asking about the subject and a person. Then next, who is the President of India? Again we are asking about a person and also the subject of the sentence. Okay. Then here, who would like some tea? Again we are asking about a person who would like tea, and also we are asking about the subject. Okay. Next interrogative word is whose. Now whose is usually used when we have to ask about ownership of something, right? When asking about who owns this particular thing or particular anything, object. Okay, that's the time when we use whose. Like we have the example here, whose kids are these? Which means we are asking these who are the parents of these kids, or who's these kids with them. So belongingness and ownership. For that we are asking whose. And whose phone is ringing? Again, ownership, we are asking about the ownership of what? The phone which is ringing. Ownership of that phone we are asking through whose. Then you have here, whose mother works in an IT company. So here again we are asking about like for here mother, we are asking about the belongingness. Okay, like whose mother works in an IT company. Alright, so here are the scenarios where we use whose. Okay, next we have is who. Now who is used to ask about any person, and that person acts as the object of the sentence. Now remember we did the word who, and who is also used to ask about a person, but at that time that person acts as the subject. Here it acts as the object. Alright, that is the difference between who and whom. Although both of them are used to ask about person. Here we have, whom do you want in your team? So here we are asking about whom do you want in your team, and the answer will be as an object. So like, I want Ria in my team. So Ria is the object here again. So we are asking about a person, but that person forms the object part of the sentence. Next, whom did you see in the garden? Again asking about the person and the object. Alright. Next up is where. Now where is used to ask about any place or position. Okay, place or position. Here we have the examples, like where is your house located? We are asking about a certain place. Then we have here, where is New York located? Again we are asking about a certain position and place. Alright. Here again, where is the kid with glasses? Here we are asking the whereabouts of whom, the position or the place of whom, the kid with glasses. Alright. Next up is when. Now when can we use when? When we are asking about time, moment, occasion, all these scenarios we can use when. Next here, like when will you leave? Here what are we asking about? We are asking about certain time or such a moment, like when will you leave? And when is a birthday? We are asking about a certain occasion, so we are using when. When did you find out about the missing cash? And here what are we using when for? For a certain moment or an event, you can say. Alright. Next we have why. Why can be used for asking for reasons and explanations. Alright. As to why someone did something, or as to why did this happen, for these purposes. Here we have, why is that kid not wearing the school uniform? So we are asking for a reason as to why that kid is not wearing the uniform. Why do we have to wear masks every day now? So again, this is what? Asking for an explanation, for a reason for something. Yeah, why do you like mangoes so much? So again, asking for a reason or an explanation. So what the job of why is, to actually paying heed to your curiosity. Whenever you are curious, you ask the questions of why. Why is this happening? Why is that happening? What are the reasons for this? Right. Then we have here what. What is used for asking for a specific object or thing. Asking for any specific object or thing. Alright. That's when we use what. Like here we have, what day is it today? We are asking about a specific day, that is today. So like, what day is it today? Specific thing we are asking. Then we have, what is bothering you? We are asking about a certain matter, like what is bothering you, which means asking about again a specific thing. What brings you here? Right, again asking for a specific thing. Okay, here, why don't? Now, why don't is a sort of a phrase which is used when we are sort of making a suggestion. Alright, it is not really an interrogative word exactly. It's more of an interrogative phrase or a usual phrase we can call it, used for making a suggestion. Let's see how. Like here, why don't you try this pair of jeans? This is sort of making a suggestion that you should try this pair of jeans as well. So why don't you try this pair of jeans? Why don't you take this route to work? So this is also making a suggestion that please take this route to work, right? Then which, asking about a certain choice. When we have to make a certain choice, we are asking about a certain choice between two things or otherwise, so we use the interrogative word which. Here, let's see the example. Which fruit do you want for breakfast, mango or apple? Here we are asking for a choice. Then, which of the following answers is correct? Again, we are asking for a choice. That's when we use which. Another one, which kid got the best marks in English? So we are asking to choose which kid got the best marks, right? Next up is how. How is used to ask about certain manner or form, maybe process, like how this happened. Okay. Here, how did the kids figure out the solution? We're asking about the manner. How did the kids figure it out? Then, how do you spend time in the evening? Again, we're asking about certain manner. How did you make this dish? Here again, we're asking about a certain process, certain manner in which something was done. Alright. Or something was done or is being done or will be done. We use how. So another one we have is how much. How much is used in asking about quantity or price of what? Of uncountable nouns. Right, remember, uncountable nouns. Here, how much do these bangles cost? So here we are asking about the price. How much sugar would you like? Here we are asking about the quantity. How many? How many is used for the asking for the quantity of countable nouns. Alright. Like here, how many chapatis do you want? You're asking about the quantity of chapatis. How many friends are going with you? Again, we're asking the number of friends going. So again, asking about quantity. How many 2s make a 40? Again, asking the quantity of 2s that make up a 40. Okay, next, how old? How old is used for asking about age. Like here, pretty simple examples. How old are you? How old is this machinery? Asking about the age of a person or a certain thing, like how old is this particular thing? How long has this been here? So in that way, asking about age. Next we have how far. This is used for asking about a certain distance. Like how far is Mumbai from Pune? How far is the nearest petrol pump? Pretty easy examples. I'm just giving you a brief overview of various interrogative words and the phrases we have, so that आपको question solve करने में कोई issue ना हो, so that you have enough material to just quickly go through and revise. Okay. Alright, so the next interrogative phrase we can say is how often. This is used to asking about frequency. Like here we have examples. How often do you go to the movies? Which means how many times something happens, something takes place. So asking about frequency. How often does a summer solstice take place? So again asking about frequency, the number of times something happens or happened. Okay, or maybe will happen in the future. Okay, now here this is another category of questions. This one abhi tak jo humne kare, they were certain descriptive questions, like their answers will vary, but here there is another category of questions which are simple yes or no questions, which means for these questions the plain answers would be either yes or no or maybe, right? Now these are not descriptive, they are not explanatory, they are simple affirmative or negative answers. There are only negative or affirmative answers to these kind of questions, and they are formed using words like is, am, are, does, do, etc. Alright, let's see. Like here, does he know you are here? Here, does he know? Starts with does. Is that a part of the plan? Starts with is. Am I your pal? Are there any lights here? Do you know what this means? So for these kind of questions, the simple answers could be either yes or no. This is one category. Alright. Okay, now next up we have a very interesting category which is question tags. Now this is one topic I feel which makes English really interesting. Let's see how. Now what is the job of question tags? What they do is they turn a statement into a question. The simple job is turning a statement into a question. Just by adding 2 or 3 words at the end of a statement, we can make it a question. So let's see how that happens. Like here, that man looks like my uncle. You just read this till here. That man looks like my uncle. So if there was a full stop here, this is just a statement, right? But when this question tag is added, like here, doesn't he? Now then, doesn't he? This becomes what? This becomes a question. So the statement turns into a question, like that man looks like my uncle, doesn't he? Right? This is so yummy statement. But we add, isn't it? And this is a question tag. So this becomes a question instead of a statement. Alright. Another one. I don't look good in this dress. A statement. But the moment we add do I, it becomes a question. Alright. Alright, so now we have a few rules for forming question tags and about question tags in general. Like here we use them at the end of sentences. Remember, we use them at the end to ask for confirmation. Like asking someone if they agree to it. Okay. And the next rule is, for a positive statement, we use a negative question tag. And for a negative statement, we use a positive question tag. Alright, so it works in an opposite manner. Pretty easy to remember, but very important rule. Alright. So here, remember that we use them at the end of the sentences to ask for a certain confirmation. Like I just gave you the example of, I don't look good in this dress. Do I? For do I, it is like asking the person in front of me for a confirmation. Like, do you agree? Okay. Then for a positive statement, we use a negative question tag, and for a negative statement, we use a positive question tag. Alright. Now another rule says the subject in this statement should match the subject in the question tag. So whatever the subject is in the statement, whichever statement we are given, negative or positive, accordingly that subject should match the subject in the question tag. Alright. And here the verb or the auxiliary verb in the statement should match the one in the question tag. So again the same thing, that the subject as well as the verb should match their counterparts in the question tag. Okay. Statement and question tag दोनों में same verb, same subjects we should use. These are the basic fundamentals for forming the correct question tag. Alright, let's see here. My mother is baking a cake, isn't she? Okay, so here you see, first of all, let's see what type of a, now our first rule was that a question tag is formed at the end. So here you see, it is formed at the end. And the second rule was, with a positive statement, we use a negative question tag. So what is the positive statement here? My mother is baking a cake. Positive statement. So we use a negative question tag. Isn't she? Isn't is a contraction which stands for is not. So isn't she? This is sort of asking for a confirmation, right? That do you agree she's baking a cake or not? Alright. Now the other part was the subject should match. Here the subject is my mother. Third person, singular and female. So here she. Third person, singular and female. So the subject is also matching. Then the verb. What is the verb here? To be conjugated in the third person form is. So here also is. Here also we have is. So you see all the rules have been followed. Then we see our next example. You are not going to talk to me, are you? So here first of all you see it is a negative statement. Alright, and the question tag is positive. Negative statement and positive question tag. And are you, it is formed, it is at the end, asking for a sort of confirmation that do you agree or not with whatever I'm saying. Alright, then the next part, that the subject. Here the subject is you. Okay, you second person. Here also the subject is you, second person. Then the verb again, you are. To be conjugated for the second person is are, you are. Here also the verb is are. So you see all our rules are followed. It is formed at the end, and with a positive statement we use a negative question tag. With a negative statement we use a positive question tag. The subject of the statement is same as the subject of the question tag, and the verb or the auxiliary verb of the statement is same as that of the question tag. Alright, you see both of these is and are, both of these were auxiliary verbs. The main verb here is baking, the main verb here is going. So the auxiliary verbs were same in the statement and the question tag. Alright. Alright, so here I have given you a list of positive statements and negative question tags in all these tenses. Like present simple conjugating with be. She's Italian, isn't she? Then present simple with other verbs can be used as, like here, they live in London, don't they? Present continuous, we are working tomorrow, aren't we? Past simple in be, it was cold yesterday, wasn't it? Here you see all the verb is the same, the subject is the same. Okay. Past simple other verbs like he went to the past party last night, didn't he? In past continuous, we were waiting at the station, weren't we? Present perfect. They've been to Japan, haven't they? Then present perfect continuous. She's been studying a lot recently, hasn't she? She's been, because it is here she has been. So here we use hasn't she. In past perfect, he had forgotten his wallet, hadn't he? Had. Past perfect continuous, we'd been working, hadn't we? Now we'd is a contraction meaning we had. Alright. Then we have future simple. She'll come at 6, won't she? Future continuous. They'll be arriving soon, won't they? Future perfect. They'll have finished before 9, won't they? And future perfect continuous. She'll have been cooking all day, won't she? Here we have modals. A few examples like here of can. He can help, can't he? And for here, John must stay, mustn't he? Okay. So here now we have negative statements and positive question tag. You can just pause the slide and go through all of them. I'll just say read them to you randomly. Like here you see past simple other words. They didn't go out last night, did they? Here you see question tag in the end, and negative statement have the positive question tag. Then you see subject and the verb, the auxiliary verb, are the same in the statement and the question tag. Alright. Then suppose here you see future simple. Future simple, they won't be late, will they? Again, they won't be late. Won't stands for will not. So here the verb is will. Again in the question tag the verb is will. Subject is they. In question tag also the subject is they. Alright. You see in modals also. She can't speak Arabic, can she? They mustn't come early, must they? So here, can you see with negative statements use positive question tags and vice versa. Alright, so that's how we form question tags. It's a pretty easy topic. Okay, now I've just given a few examples of special cases of question tags. Let's see. Here, these are only a few special cases. There are a few more. If they come as and when they come in the questions, we'll discuss them. It's just to give you an example. These are actually quite understood by default, but I've just given them to you so that you don't get confused. Like here, if statement has negative adverbs. Negative adverbs. What do we mean by negative adverbs? Like here you see, we have never seen that. Never seen that. Now this may look like a positive statement to you, but actually it is not. Why? Because it has a negative adverb. आपको positive statement लगेगी क्योंकि इसमें not तो है नहीं. But if you think logically, so here you have never seen that. So it is a negative statement only because we're using a negative adverb. So when we have a negative adverb, we use a positive question tag. Alright. Now here, statements begin with I am, so we use are not. Now, when a statement starts with I am and then you have to add a question tag, so you use aren't I. Right, like I'm intelligent, aren't I? Okay. Then statement that begins with let's. Use shall we. Okay, let's take the next verse. Shall we? Alright, so these were the few special cases. Okay, now we have our second topic, which was sentence sequencing. Now what do you have to do in sentence sequencing is, you will be given different, there's a sentence, you will be given different parts of a sentence like subject in one or verb in one or object in one, and they will all be jumbled up. Okay, they will not be making any meaning to you. And so you will have to read them and solve it by taking care of the subject and predicate and by taking care of the subject verb object agreement. Okay, that's what we will be discussing in the questions as and when they come. I will explain one or two to you, and then actually I will be explaining all of them to you anyway, but just for example you can take like one of those questions as an example and then solve the rest of them on your own. Alright, so this was for sentence sequencing, and question tags and questions, interrogative words we have already done. So that's all. Now we have done both our topics. Now we will be starting off with the quiz. Alright, so for the quiz what we will be doing is, now every question you will be given 1 minute. 1 minute means 60 seconds. Why am I giving you 1 minute? Because you see, your question paper of IEO, it has about 50 questions, and so you can imagine that you get more or less a minute to answer the questions. Now this 1 minute is the maximum that you should be taking for answering the question. Now suppose there could be two, three categories of students. First category is, suppose you answer the question within that 1 minute. So I would request you to fast forward the video and skip right to the answer. You should not be wasting your time. Alright. Now the other students who are not able to answer the question in 1 minute, what you do, you don't skip to the answer. You pause the video and you write down your answer. Alright, it is very important to answer each and every question because there is no negative marking. Here you see, for every incorrect answer, no points, because there is no negative marking in IEO. So it is important that you attempt all the questions. Now for a question of which you are not sure about the answer, now even here and even in the exam, if you are not sure about the answer and you maybe think that B option might be correct or C option might be correct, so you should in that case play your luck and play your mind and make a guess and still give an answer, because it is a win-win situation. Either you will get the marks for that question or you will get a 0, right? But if you don't attempt that question at all, then you are anyway getting a 0 in that, right? So it is good to attempt those questions, and even if you don't know all the answers, try to understand and take a guess. Okay, so this is for every correct answer 10 points. This is just for your own little game where you can try to maintain a notepad. So here you write the name of the chapter and then the question, and then if it is correct you can give yourself 10 points. If it is not correct, you mark it here. So it is important to see these questions. The ones which you mark incorrect, it is important to go back to them later and then see where you did the mistake. Alright, this is just for your reference. For every correct answer you can give yourself 10 points. Alright, now let's start. Alright, so now we start off the questions. Here it says reorder the given phrases to make meaningful sentences and choose the correct option. So we have to reorder them. Let's see. Of vegetarians are shown that these surveys have medical bills and those of non-vegetarians considerably lower. Okay, so here surveys have, start off with surveys have shown that the medical bills of vegetarians are considerably lower than those of non-vegetarians. RQS, PUT, answer is C. Pretty easy. Here we have from all the 9 host cities, welcome them warmly. Soccer fans arrived in South Africa to watch the World Cup. Residents as hundreds of thousands of. Okay, so here let's see. Starts probably with T. Here, as hundreds of thousands of soccer fans arrived in South Africa. TR, soccer fans arrived in South Africa from all the 9 host cities. TR, no, sorry. As hundreds of thousands of soccer fans arrived in South Africa, probably then we write, yes, to watch the World Cup. So TRS, to watch the World Cup. Then residents, so then we say residents from all the 9 host cities, welcome them warmly. So TRS, P and Q. Yes, correct answer is A. Okay, TRS, P, Q. Next we have the center of Cape Town is located at the northern end of the peninsula. Okay. So here actually I think this seems perfectly information itself. Like here the center of Cape Town is located at the northern end of the peninsula. I think so. Do we have an option? Yes, D. PQRST. Alright. Okay, here in Johannesburg, Nelson Mandela stands in front of the entrance to a statue of Mandela Shopping Square. Okay, so here we can start off this with a statue of Nelson Mandela stands in front of the entrance to. Okay, the statue of Nelson Mandela stands in front of the entrance to Mandela Shopping Square in Johannesburg. Okay, SQRDP. Yes, correct answer is C. Here we have a green escape in the rain, a greenhouse-like indoor space that is Sony's Plaza, another good spot. So here we start this off with another good spot is Sony Plaza, comma, another good spot is Sony Plaza, then a greenhouse-like indoor space that is a great escape in the rain. This might seem a little confusing, but if you read it like this, see, another good spot is Sony Plaza, a greenhouse-like indoor space that is a great escape in the rain. So the answer is A. Okay, so now the next one says back to basics. In and around yoga centers have opened a dozen in the city in recent years. Okay, so we start with here a dozen. Back to basics. Yoga centers have opened in and around the city in recent years. So SPRQT. Correct answer accordingly is B. Okay, here I would not have accepted it had I known the job earlier, the nature of. Okay, so had I known the nature of the job earlier, I would not have accepted it. R2, RTSPQ. Answer is B. They all agree on the demand matters of principle despite the differences on a hike in salary. Okay. So we start off with despite the differences on the matters of principles. Despite the differences on the matters of principles, they all agree on the demand of hike in salary. SRPQT. Correct answer is D. Okay, here this is most important amongst the of the century inventions and discoveries. Right, so this is amongst the what? Most important inventions and discoveries of the century. PRQTS. Correct answer accordingly is A. Okay, here we have, and then relaxes, washes dishes, does she cooks her homework. Okay, so we start off with R. She cooks, washes dishes, does her homework, and then relaxes. RQSB. Correct answer is B. Okay, here we have reorder the given phrases and make meaningful sentences and choose the correct option. Reorder. Same thing. Needs of the audience and its relation to the effectiveness of a film is judged by its theme. Okay. So the effectiveness of a film is judged by its theme S and its relation to the needs of the audience. RSQP. Correct answer is C. Here we have has in many respects the Bible, the most sacred, a unique character and position, book of all Christians among all the books of the world. So we can start it off with the Bible, the most sacred book of all Christians, has in many respects, a unique character and position among all the books of the world. So the correct answer is QSPRT. Okay, so yes, A. Okay, next category of questions, choose the part of the sentence that has an error. He is capable at doing any work without any hesitation at any time. Okay. Correct answer in the part with the error is A. He is capable at. It should be he is capable of doing any work, right? Okay, here we have, this book is designed to increase the working knowledge of spoken and written English. So here the part, there is nothing wrong with the sentence. The sentence is completely okay. So there is no error. This book is designed to increase the working knowledge of spoken and written English. Okay. My nephew who lives in Assam is eager to visit us in Delhi and to have a glimpse of the Indian capital. Okay, so here again, no error. Seems fine. The question, the sentence is completely fine. No error at all. Okay. Every day I told him to come to office on time, but he still comes late every day. Okay, so here the part with the error is this one, Q. Every day I told him, if we are saying every day, then we should use the present tense like every day. I tell him to come to office. Okay, so the answer is B, Q. During the last days, I was continuously trying to contact all my relatives, but none of them were available. Okay, so here, during the last days. Now, during the last days here, this is the part which is incorrect. During the last days, rather it should be, in the last days or during the last few days, it should be like that. So the incorrect part is A. Okay, the government has been working on this project from the last 20 years. Alright, the incorrect portion is S, which means D. Should have been, the government has been working on this project since the last 20 years, not from the last 20 years. Because you see, has been working, which means it is still working, right? So we use since, because since is used to talk about a duration starting from a certain point in the past, like till now. Okay. Then we have, even though it was rain heavy, I went out for a long drive with my friend. Even though it was here raining heavily, it should be. Even though it was raining heavily. So the correct answer is B, the part which has an error, Q. Alright? With their hard work and dedication from a tiny room in the slums, they have progressed to move to a big house in a posh locality. Okay, this sentence actually seems fine. There is no error. With their hard work and dedication from a tiny room in the slums, they have progressed to move to a big house in a posh locality. Easy. Okay, here all schools on Goa which had English as the medium of instruction, because the majority there speaks in English. Okay, so here the error part seems A. All schools, not on Goa, in Goa it should be. All schools in Goa which had English as the, it should be all schools on Goa which had English as the medium of instruction. Okay, all schools in Goa, and there shouldn't be any which. So all schools in Goa had English as the medium of instruction because the majority there speaks in English, right? Okay. Ever since the government announced its new education policy, all the private institutions had run into heavy weather. Okay, so here all the private institutions, not had, it should be have run into heavy weather. Correct answer is C, R. Children who have had good preschool education most likely to outdo other children at school. Okay, so here Q. Children who have had good preschool education are most likely. Okay, this should be this auxiliary verb here. Are most likely to outdo other children at school. Okay, so the part which has an error is Q. B is the answer. Okay, there are much inconveniences that you have to put up with when you are camping. The incorrect portion is A. There are much inconveniences. Not much, it should be many. There are many inconveniences that you have to put up with when you are camping. Right? The answer is A. Okay, next up. The angry man walked hurriedly into the crowded room and shouted loud at the guest. Here, the incorrect portion is S. It should be shouted loudly at the guest. Not loud. Loud is an adjective, but we are talking about adverb here, so shouted loudly at the guest. Correct answer is D. S.
That's all for our class on sentence and sentence sequencing. I hope you have understood the basic premises. The various questions that we discussed, if you've made any mistake in them, make sure you rectify it and don't repeat that mistake. Alright, so that's all. Keep revising the basic concepts that we discussed. I will see you the next time. Thank you for watching.